Charisma's cross, Ronaldo against the bar. Charisma all the way through, there was a coming together, there's a penalty. Ronaldo cracks it high and home. And Portugal have their overdue lead. Charisma is clever. Eliseu, pull back for Bernardo Silva to double the Portuguese lead at some personal cost. It's hurt him, but it's hurt New Zealand too. The referee has a couple of notes to make here. Semedo. Ronaldo! And Ronaldo again. Here's Silva. He's gone all the way, Andre Silva. He's scored a belting goal. Fizzed into the top corner.
Okay, that's highlights coming from the Confederations Cup. We'll just start with that one. But then Olawale Shola is in the studio. We'll be talking more on the Confederations Cup. Good morning, good to have you.
Good morning, Cecilia. Good morning, Yemi. I'm happy to be back in the studio.
All right. Big games today, right?
Yeah.
A big one. So starting with Portugal and Chile.
Oh, that's a cracker. Though the Portuguese have enjoyed an 8-2, 5-2, 8-2 against the Chileans. But for the past 3 or 4 years, the Chileans have been superb. Winning the Copa America 2 times, and they've had some excellent players to rely on. Arturo Vidal, Alexis Sanchez, Charles Arango is not taking away the quality on the Portuguese side. Okay. Cristiano Ronaldo, Bernardo Silva, André Silva, João Martinho, Nani, Pepe. No, so it will be quality versus quality, the European style of technical ability versus the South American side of flair. So, Cecilia, you cannot expect less. Beautiful football.
Okay, we just can't wait for that. You know, before we look at the fixtures, maybe we'll get to listen to some fans who are actually watching the Confederations Cup now and also thinking Russia, they're really ready to host the 2018 World Cup, because right now it's been flawless for the host nation.
I think that as far as security is actually very, very good. I had a friend of mine that the other night went to the opening of the Confederation Cup, and she went to see Russia against Portugal, and she said that security was amazing, that everybody was helping. So absolutely, I think yes. I think it will be actually a great experience, and you know, I am looking forward to that. Even though I am a foreigner, I think it will be very easy for us. It would be nice if people would speak a little more English, but Russians are actually very helpful, so yeah, absolutely.
I think the only issue is if you fly from one city to another. So if I go from Kansas to Sochi, I have to fly through Moscow, and there's no direct flight. So that is a little bit hard. So this is the 3rd time I've been to Moscow, but it's a good city. It's a great city.
What is really helpful is the guys from the volunteers from the Confederations Cup. They all really they try to help you. They give me maps. They wrote down all the stations, metro stations that I have to get there, or streets. That was really good.
I think they will be ready. We've been to previous Confederation Cups, and we see some flaws like we do with Russia, but I think they'll fix them, and I think they'll be ready for 2018. There's a lot of construction. You can't really take a taxi. We try using Uber, and we've had a few issues with Uber. The number of hotels available, for example, here, it was difficult to find a hotel. We're staying in an apartment, which is not our first choice. We would have liked to have stayed at a hotel. And so the availability of hotels is lacking, I think, in some cities, especially this one.
I think no. Normally, the fan fest or the fan edition works well. In Kazan, we found more letters and signs in English, like I told you, because I think that is the only bad stuff. More information in English could help you in the underground. For example, in Moscow, you don't find that in all the stations, but they're doing well.
Yeah, the takeaway from there is when you're going to Russia, just let learn a little bit of the English and know that you will visit Moscow so much, because that's where all the flights are actually connecting. Ishola, you know, from what they've said, they've seen the country, they've seen what it is, security-wise, it's one of the best according to those who are there. What will be your takeaway from the Confederations Cup when it's finally over?
Okay, the Confederations Cup before the World Cup is a good test run.
Okay.
For facilities, security, accommodation, and all other facilities that will help for any host nation that is hosting the World Cup. Now, there are still some minor issues, as the guy said, in terms of accommodation, because of the construction that is going on. They cannot access Uber, they cannot access some public transportation system. I know by the time we start the World Cup in 2018, that is the summer of 2018, they will be ready. Now, that's one part. On the other part, the world have been skeptical about Russia hosting the World Cup. But I think it's more to Western propaganda that has been piled up against the Russians, from the doping of the doping scandal of the athletes to the water of Sochi, the Winter Olympics from Sochi. But with what we've seen now, from what we've seen, the number of matches we've played, I think Russia will be ready by 2018 to host the world.
Yeah, I have a question for you. Listening to you, security is one part, you know, and state of readiness in terms of facilities, the pitches, another part. But I don't even want to go into that. Two issues, whenever you think of Russia, you think about hooliganism and racism. They've been able to curb that at the FIFA Confederations Cup. But is it because of the extreme vetting they are doing to the fans? If they allow the fans come, will those problems, if they allow anybody just go into the stadium, will issues of hooliganism, beating fans, thank God England fans are not here anyway, beating fans and all that, and issues of racism, will those things happen if they allow anybody come? Or because they are on top of it, that is why it has not happened?
That's when you have a problem, you have to diagnose the problem and find a solution. They saw what happened at the last Euro in terms of legalism. They went back home and they worked on themselves. Now, they've been able to check the legalism. That's one. Number two, the World Cup and the Confederations Cup, the opportunities for you to showcase your country. Even as a citizen, you have to check yourself. Because if you try to beat up fans, if you try to misbehave, you're sending wrong signals to the outside world. People will be afraid to come to your country. It will affect you in terms of revenue. It will affect you in terms of image. Then your tourism industry will be affected as well. Because the World Cup is not only a competition whereby people just go to the pitch of play to play. There are after effects after the competition. The tourism industry will boom. You see what happened in South Africa, we see what happened to Brazil. People are now, the level of people that went to those countries before the World Cup have surged higher after the World Cup. So as a citizen, they have to check themselves. Even as the administrators and the authorities, they have to put up plans and structures in place to check legalism, to check security. And again, mind you, hear me, Russia is not a country that takes nonsense. They've known to be tight-fisted in terms of security and technology. So our concern about security, which has been doused, I think it's a good thing about the Russian system.
And you feel we're not going to have those incidents between now and during the World Cup?
We might have, but it won't derail them also the World Cup.
Okay. All right. All right.
Okay, now let's go back to the game itself. Back to the pitch now. You were talking about the Portuguese team, how good they can be. But then, what will be the impact of Cristiano Ronaldo?
Cristiano Ronaldo has cemented his place among the legends.
Okay.
Can't take that one away from him. Now, his hunger for success is something that is unquenchable. Because I was surprised that he went for Confederations Cup after the draining season of winning the champions of Real Madrid. And I think, with the way things are now, he wants to give everything to win the Confederations Cup so that he can add Confederations Cup to his trophy cabinet. But nevertheless, I told you, Portugal is facing a quality side in the Chileans. So we will say cracker today, and the game can go either way. I won't place my bet on any of the teams. It's the team that take their chances that will win.
All right. Let's talk about Misha, the polar bear. She's made her predictions. On some occasions, she's been wrong, but she's predicting a Mexico-Chile final. And she's trying to compensate for some of the mistakes that she's made in a, that's Misha the
Yes, the polar bear, yeah.
So